And thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Ron Corning, once again joining forces with FWD DFW together with the Dallas Morning News as we have important conversations about how to really see ourselves through this coronavirus pandemic that is washing across our country. And it is changing by the hour, but the one thing that remains constant is our knowledge that people are in need and they're turning to nonprofit organizations in order to get their needs met. And there really is no area of the country, I've lived in a lot of places, that I see as being more giving and more able to help in a time of crisis than DFW. And yet we need to be mindful of what their needs are so that they can help those who are in crisis. So we want to start here today with Rob Peabody. He's the co-founder and CEO of VOMO.org. It is a volunteer platform. It's basically technology that allows nonprofit organizations to log on and begin finding a means to staff up their volunteer organizations. And Rob is joining us right now. First of all, Rob, your idea to do this and meet the needs of volunteer organizations when we were not in crisis mode was in its own right ingenious. And then on top of that, you realized as this pandemic was beginning to take shape that you needed to do more.
Right. Yeah. So, VOMO's been around for the past 3 years, and we've been mobilizing volunteers all across the nation, churches, nonprofits, school districts, universities, political campaigns, anybody that needs to mobilize people to go do good, and have used a lot of creativity and innovation because, the average person touches their phone 2,700 times a day now. The younger you are, the higher that number goes up.
Right.
So we are a culture staring at a screen all day long. And so how do we leverage that to help people go and see transformation happen in their communities? But the big turning point was when we saw the coronavirus begin to spread and the idea of quarantine. And I was literally on a phone call Thursday with one of our investors and backers. And I just said, interestingly enough, we've done a thing called the Be a Neighbor campaign back in November when Tom Hanks did that film, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Right, where he played Fred Rogers, which, by the way, I think the likes of Mr. Rogers is missing from our culture, and we need to find it in some other ways. Many of these organizations are filling that gap of kindness. But we had a photo here that showed that day that you launched that. And yes, ironic that you launch a campaign to gear up volunteerism and to staff nonprofit organizations. And it turns out now we're in need of more volunteers than ever. And the man who helped you launch it, Tom Hanks, is among those who's been diagnosed.
I know. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
We've seen the pictures on social media of him in quarantine down in Australia. And so, yeah, the idea was, hey, we did that across the country back when the film came out. Mm-hmm. So what if we resurrected the Be a Neighbor campaign now? Because, the one thing that we need right now is for the nation to come together and tangibly help one another.
Yeah, so I want people to understand. So you created this technology, this platform, VOMO.org, and organizations pay a fee in order to join and have access to your services. So you screen and recruit volunteers. So you're a money-making organization. I mean, you're a business. Right. You're a business at heart. But to give you a sense of the services they provide, yes, they're a money-making business, but they help volunteer organizations keep their costs down by doing all of that administrative work and so forth that can be costly. And so, case in point, Courtney Cuthbert is joining us. She's the director of Brother Bill's Helping Hands, and they staff a lot of volunteer organizations. Courtney, thank you for being here. Before VOMO.org came around 3 years ago, what was it like for you administratively, the cost to volunteer, to staff up with volunteers?
Yeah, so VOMO has been a lifesaver for our organization. Before we used VOMO, it was very much old school. We were calling volunteers. They were calling us. It was a lot of back and forth trying to figure out when our schedules lined up with when they could come. We had a lot of emails. We had interns in trying to help me manage volunteers. So VOMO has helped us really just cut back effectively on having staff and also on having a system that does it all in one place.
All right, so I don't want to bury the lead here because we've established that Rob has come up with technology that he's been able to monetize by helping volunteer organizations, and you save money in effect. But now it's come full circle where, Rob, you are giving of yourself and your company is giving of itself. You're waiving all fees to become a member of the platform if your organization is in need of staffing up with a cause related to coronavirus.
Absolutely. We're a social enterprise, and last Thursday on that call, we said this is just the right thing to do.
Right.
I don't know how we could charge nonprofits who desperately need help in these times, who
And
are
then not give back in a time.
right, and they're on the front lines. I mean, yeah.
So the numbers are pretty remarkable, and I want to just get a sense here from a technology standpoint how you do gear up to handle this. You told me before we came on air, you have an organization every 10 minutes?
Yeah, they're coming on.
Did I
from
get that
across the
number
nation.
correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So an organization every 10 minutes is signing up for your services.
Yes.
That outpaces your regular membership
Oh, yeah.
registration.
Yeah.
To what degree? I mean, can you even quantify it?
I'll just tell you, we launched Sunday night,
Okay.
and by Tuesday morning, we got more new accounts than we do in 2 months. typically.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to call you a visionary, first of all, for having established it to start with, but then you saw and anticipated that there would be a strain on volunteer organizations as a result of this. Where did you first make that connection? Was it because you were seeing what was happening in other places around the world?
Yeah, so I used to live in Europe, so we've been really paying attention to that. And then also before VOMO, I ran a nonprofit. So I know all the pain points of mobilizing people on the front lines.
You know when unemployment is up that food banks are in greatest need of
Exactly.
of food and volunteers and so
Exactly.
forth. So did you anticipate it would be this kind of a rush or this kind of interest?
No, I mean, I knew we would have interest because we're giving it away for free, but I didn't realize they would have the national appeal. And we just find all the time that nonprofits are looking for a solution. They need a clearinghouse of opportunities to drive all the individuals to one place to then
Right.
find where they can serve. And then individuals, we have them coming to our site as well, saying, I need help. And we're hearing stories of people who
Are
say,
you equipped for that? Has that always been the case?
we've never been equipped for it.
So
Yeah.
they're Googling
Yeah.
organizations that can help me with any number of things, and you're coming up high in that search is what I'm presuming is happening?
Right, and they're going to our site, clicking I need help, and they're realizing that
So how are you meeting that need on a dime? How are you sort of pivoting? I guess that's become a key word here.
totally, and we're pivoting to funnel it straight through the frontline nonprofits.
Yeah. So you're sending it to them. You're saying, not only can we give you volunteers, but we're also going to give along with that a bit more demand. You're going to have to meet the needs of some more folks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Courtney, are you seeing that? Are you seeing that as you're getting staffed up with more volunteers? I mean, is it keeping pace? You don't want the need to outpace the need for volunteers, but
Yeah.
at some point it's a bit of a scale and there could be an imbalance.
Definitely. So far, we are seeing more people come. Even today, we had people coming that are saying, hey, we need food. Can we make an appointment with you guys? And we're going to continue serving people and meeting those needs as long as we're able.
Give me a sense of, we're looking at some of the imagery here. Give me a sense of the scope of your work.
Sure. So Brother Bill's kind of is like a community center in the heart of West Dallas, but we serve the surrounding areas as well. We serve kind of the marginalized, those that are kind of vulnerable, a vulnerable population already. Most are low income. They don't have access to healthy food or medical care. And so our two primary services are our food pantry, which we call a grocery store, and then our clinic. We have a lot of developmental classes and programs that we offer as well. So we teach English. We have job training programs. We have Bible studies, exercise class, healthy living programs. But right now, we're kind of focusing on those essentials of life. So the food and the medical care, those are the things that we cannot stop right now.
If only you could more concisely articulate exactly what you do, it would be more helpful, Courtney. I'm like, boy, I feel better already.
Well, come surf with us.
I do.
There you go.
I would love to serve with
We can
you.
sign
And
you
Get on
up.
VOMA.
Yeah,
And-
there it
when
is.
I'm not sitting here talking about and promoting you, I'm happy to come help you because trust me, I have some idle time on my hands as well, as is the case with a lot of people. And we know that there are those of you out there who are going to be out of work and not able to take your skill set and transfer it immediately in what we hope is a shortened period of time. And I would just encourage people to think about the possibilities of giving of yourself, if for nothing else, to keep your sanity. A, you're getting out of the house. B, you're engaging with other people. And we should say here, and we said this yesterday with Tricia Cunningham from North Texas Food Bank, you're doing it while also following all the guidelines of social distancing and sanitation and going through probably a compressed training, I would think, right?
Sure.
To
Yeah.
get people up and running.
Absolutely. All the CDC guidelines are on the site. And then we're working alongside of the nonprofits, and they're really enforcing all of those precautions to make sure that we're not, causing a disaster after the disaster, but actually helping during the time.
Isn't it amazing when smart people get together? I mean, really, we've got, when great minds get together in the middle of a crisis, it doesn't diminish the anxiety and the fear of the crisis or the reality of the crisis, but it does help temper a little bit and give us some sense that there is help out there. People do care enough to take the steps needed to help get us through this. If you want to be a neighbor, that campaign relaunched in light of the coronavirus pandemic, you can follow VOMO.org. You can get on their social media campaigns. There they are, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's all there. And another important way to become a volunteer and hook up with Be a Neighbor is through Forward DFW. Here's more on that. If you have idle time on your hands, you can use your special gift, your skill set, your superpower. Visit FWDDFW.com, click on the volunteer link, sign up to be a neighbor with VOMO.org. All right, so we have directed you to FWD DFW so you can be a neighbor and be part of this ongoing volunteer movement in a time of need. And it's interesting because this is a theme that has emerged here throughout the week. Gillian Breidenbach joining us now from FWDDFW.com. Again, there's the website. Gillian, your goal has always been to create a volunteer brigade, and brigade by its very definition is sort of a small army of people who can, I think crisis, we're sort of at war with something here in a way, and you want that brigade to be on standby. So you could end up building a volunteer movement here if it's not entirely used this time around, is on standby.
Absolutely. I mean, right now we're trying to turn lemons into lemonade, and this is an amazing opportunity for North Texas to rally this pent-up demand that folks have. They want to go do something and they want to be helpful, and now is the time where we can really shine a light on North Texas and be a leader in the country, and then get ready for the next moment where we actually need to activate many, many people.
So Rob Peabody's platform, he's the co-founder and CEO of VOMO.org, his platform, his technological platform, you've been married to that on your site for a very long time now.
We did. When we launched Forward DFW about 18 months ago, we knew one of the key things we needed to have as a piece of engagement was volunteering. We were asking people to read this amazing content that our companies, our headquarter and marquee companies, are talking about in their own corporate social responsibility. But then we also had our own responsibility to have a call to action. What can people do once they read that amazing information? And volunteering is the easiest platform to do that. So we partnered with Rob and his team, and it's been an ongoing process as we keep building up opportunities for North Texans to go volunteer every day.
Yeah, and to think that this partnership, Rob, did you imagine that this partnership that you would have with Forward DFW and the Dallas Morning News and this marriage of sorts from 18 months ago would come to fruition in this way? I mean, I know we all sort of prepare and talk about the possibility of a worst case scenario, but this is something we've never experienced before in our lifetimes.
No, absolutely not. It's uncharted waters for all of us. And the beauty is that the Dallas Morning News and Forward DFW, they already have the mouthpiece and megaphone to all of North Texas.
Right.
So a platform's only so good if you have actual people and
people
projects.
Have to know about it.
Yeah, they have to use it.
You could have a great platform and people not know about it. And that's another point here is, as we talked about a little earlier, the demand on your site for people to register their nonprofits. You worked 24 hours a day for 4 straight days with your team to make sure that you were ramped up. That too was in its own way visionary because you just didn't know what the demand would be. I mean, your site could have crashed and it hasn't.
Yeah, could have. It totally could have.
Still could. We hope it doesn't. These are all litmus tests as our systems are tested, really.
Sure. We, it's a gradual process with the social enterprise. We've scaled up over the years, and last year we worked in 31 different countries, and so we're mobilizing people all across the globe. And so we've got a lot of very talented developers on the team, in-house offices in McKinney. And so when Forward DFW came on, we knew we needed to scale up for that. And then yes, the past 4 days have been just a frantic, mad rush to get ready to really serve the nation, and really right here where we live. It's all about how can we get as many nonprofits to come to Forward DFW, sign up for the Be a Neighbor campaign for free, have their opportunities on the front lines, and then the Dallas Morning News and all of our other outlets are helping to push people to it. So we've got the one-stop shop to do something, tangibly good during this crisis.
And some 12 years ago, we wouldn't have this platform, which is this studio and Facebook, to talk about it. So if you're watching this and you know someone who would like to volunteer, if you want to get the word out, if you know of nonprofits that need help and volunteer staffing, share this Facebook Live on your Facebook page so they can then go to Forward DFW and to Rob's platform as well through them so you can staff up. And I dare say that we don't really know what our needs will be as we move forward. This is an evolving situation, and so we just have to be prepared for almost anything.
Absolutely. It's right now for us, it's all about the critical needs like brother bills and food pantries and blood centers and helping with children who are out of school. And so those are the critical needs we know of. And as we bring nonprofits their opportunities and people, we'll continue to put relevant ways for them to serve with whatever the CDC is allowing and whatever is the safest thing for our residents in North Texas.
All right, Rob. Thank you. Rob Peabody, co-founder, CEO of VOMO.org. Gillian Breidenbach joining us from Forward DFW and the Dallas Morning News. Courtney Cuthbert with Brother Bill's Helping Hands. We want to thank all of our guests today. Our conversations will continue. If you have any topics you'd like for us to address, please just post them here on our Facebook page, and we will see you next time. Special thanks to Forward DFW's founding and supporting partners for making this coverage possible. Forward DFW was created in partnership with the Dallas Morning News. The goal? To connect companies, causes, and the community, and face issues that impact the economy and wellness of North Texas.